The Waves have the ball right now as a lead by 12. 1:25 remaining here in our first half, and our audio is officially up and running. Appreciate everyone's patience through our technical difficulties, but we're back. We're ready to rock and roll. Friday night hoops. It's been a good game so far. The Jacksonville Waves and the Greensboro Groove going toe-to-toe for the fourth time this regular season. Jacksonville currently leading by 14. Just about a minute to play in our first half as Kamari and McDaniel has it for the Greensboro Groove. The Groove have not played in almost 2 weeks. Their last game was against the Jacksonville Waves, and they're back at it for another 2-game series against this Waves team. Johnson's left corner three can't fall as we'll get a loose ball foul. Little update for you on some stats. The Greensboro Groove currently right now are led by Kamari McDaniel. She has 10 points. Renaya Davis is the leading scorer for the Jacksonville Waves. She has 10 points on her side. The Jacksonville Waves have been playing team basketball. Already 5 players on their squad with 5 or more points. And a lot of highlights here in this contest, and you take a look at players to watch. You actually have the league's 3 leading scorers in this game, Diamond Johnson and Kamari McDaniel, the backcourt for the Greensboro Groove. They are currently the 2 leading scorers in the UPSHOT League. The Jacksonville Waves are led by Air Hearn, who comes into this game averaging just a shade over 16 points a game on her regular season so far. The Waves at 5-2. Coming off their last game, which was back on June 3rd against the Charlotte Crown, a game in which they won 67-59. It was the lowest scoring game of their UPSHOT season, but they still were able to prevail with a victory, and already here tonight, looking sharp in front of this Groove team. How about Diamond Johnson saying, give me that ball, taking it coast to coast, shooting with the right hand and drawing a foul. So the UPSHOT's leading scorer will head to the free throw line. Johnson taking it so fast. This is a player that just at 24 years old, had 27 points in her last game against the Jacksonville Waves, in which she hit 5 3-pointers. That was also the most threes that she's made so far in any UPSHOT game. Of course, spent her college career playing over at NC State and then later finishing up at Norfolk State, where she was the MEAC Player of the Year and had so much success there at the college level, and already having a great career so far here in the UPSHOT League. Air Hearn will bring the ball up for Jacksonville. Shot clock is off. Hearn has been commanding the charge so far. Those of you that have been watching it, seeing Air Hearn really controlling that point at a good tempo. But Diamond Johnson's defense is right there, all up in her grill, forcing the backcourt violation, and the Groove will take over with possession. So buckle up, folks. Our second half will be ready to go, and we'll be ready to bring you what will be an exciting second half. See if Greensboro can try and mount and come back. These two teams will play again tomorrow right here in this exact same building at the Novon Health Fieldhouse. Tip-off for that will be just about 4 p.m. Eastern time. The Groove have one final shot here to try and get some points on the board. 5 seconds to go. It's Jessica Timmons with it for Greensboro. Gets a double screen, steps inside, behind the back. Jones Bell's going to have to fire. That shot did not go off in time, as it is officially halftime from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we're going to run you through some first half highlights. Jessica Timmons, who, mind you, had a great 2-game stretch against Jacksonville a few weeks ago, in which she hit 7 3-pointers in one of the games. Cheyenne Sellers, she was an unsung hero in Jacksonville's last win over Greensboro back on May 31st. But this first half was even kill for the beginning stages, but then Jacksonville really was able to take control there, building a double-digit lead and keeping it throughout the remainder of the first half. Renaya Davis was the leading scorer for the Waves, scoring in double digits. Jessica Timmons was off to another solid start there for the Greensboro Groove. And really, the Jacksonville Waves trying to use their size to their advantage. Taylor Soule with some nice minutes off the bench. Zahara Jones, she's a player that's been getting a lot more minutes recently for the Greensboro Groove. We look to see what she can do in that second half. But Jacksonville's 3-point shootings was really well. They actually held Greensboro to a very low percentage in that first half. That was the play of the first half. Dave Jones-Bell, an electric block in transition for the Greensboro Groove. But at the half, Jacksonville leads 47-35 over Greensboro. A win today, and the Waves will retain that first place in the UPSHOT League standings. They'll move to 6-2. Greensboro, with the win today, can move to 5-3. We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, we will have that second half ready to go with crisp, clear audio. You're watching the UPSHOT League. Welcome back into this presentation of UPSHOT Basketball. We're live on a Friday night in Greensboro, North Carolina for this matchup between the Jacksonville Waves and the Greensboro Groove. Appreciate everyone spending your Friday evening with us. My name is Wendell Epps, here to bring you tonight's broadcast. Right now, Jacksonville with a double-digit lead at the intermission, looking to build upon that lead here in the second half. We'll walk you through how this game has gone by so far for those of you just joining us. So Jacksonville in the first quarter, they came out, they were firing. 21-13, they outscored Greensboro in that first quarter. Head coach Esboji, you see her on the screen right there, had to be very pleased with what Jacksonville did in that opening frame. They held the Greensboro Groove to just 3 of 13 from the field, and they held Diamond Johnson, yes, Diamond Johnson, who is the league's leading scorer, scoreless in that first quarter. Diamond Johnson did not score. Jacksonville's defense was on point. They had 10 points in the paint on the offensive end, and they also had 9 bench points. But in the second quarter, head coach for the Greensboro Groove, Janice Washington, her squad got back into it just a tad. They were only outscored 26-22, but their league's leading scorer, Diamond Johnson, did come back, scoring 7 points in the period. Now, Jacksonville right now is shooting 51% from the field and 45% from beyond the arc. That's something that they're looking to continue to boost up in that second half. In Greensboro, these first couple minutes of the second half are going to be very important. Only within 12 right now. Basketball, of course, is a game of runs, so anything is possible in this sport. Got a good crowd on tap here for Women in Sports Night at the Novant Held Fieldhouse. Always love seeing the Greensboro Groove put on these great promotional nights, and tomorrow will be Legends Night as well, and tomorrow they will also be playing this exact same Jacksonville Waves team. This is the 4th meeting between these two clubs this regular season. 2 of them have taken place in Greensboro. The first one took place back in Jacksonville all the way on May 23rd, a game in which the Waves won 80-76, but in that game, Jacksonville led by over 30 points, and Greensboro mounted a huge comeback. So maybe Greensboro's got another comeback in their arsenal here tonight, and could hopefully make things interesting on their side. The Waves come in with the league's best record at 5-2. The Greensboro Groove at 4-3, but at home this season they are 3-1. So they have been very sharp here at the Novant Health Fieldhouse. And also, too, some new additions to the roster of the Greensboro Groove, most notably number 22, Sasha Washington, who played her college ball at Vanderbilt. She made her debut early in the first half, and somebody that is going to be able to add some good toughness and size and energy to this Greensboro Groove team. But right now on the floor to begin the second half for the Groove, it's Diamond Johnson, Kamaria McDaniel, who are the 2 leading scorers in UPSHOT, Jessica Timmons, who's been playing some of her best basketball as of late, Maya Hollingshed, and Amaya Joyner. That is a 5 on the floor for the Greensboro Groove, who are in the white uniforms. Jacksonville is in the green. Let's do it. Friday Night Hoops. Second half is officially underway from the Novant Health Fieldhouse. This is Lindsay Pulliam with it for the Waves. Most experienced team in this league, but they turn it over on the first possession of the second half, and Greensboro, they're going to like that. That is exactly what you want to do if you're the Groove. Play some lockdown defense, get stops, and then try and get buckets on the other end of the floor. Here's McDaniel, now to the hands of Johnson. Gets a screen from Joyner. Swings it out to McDaniel. They go around the horn. It's Timmons for 3. Money! Jessica Timmons opening up this second half on a roll. And you can just see the body language from the Groove look a little bit more attentive on the defensive end of the floor. Joyner taps it out to Timmons. Greensboro now within single digits. Timmons again! That one is way too high, but good idea. Jessica Timmons hit 7 3-pointers back in a win against the Jacksonville Waves on May 30th. Game in which Greensboro won by 18, but you take a look at this first three of the second half for Jessica Timmons. She is a sharp shooter. What a past couple months it's been for her. Got drafted by the Indiana Fever, participated in training camp with them, got cut, but here at the Greensboro Groove, getting a great opportunity, and she's been taking advantage of it as well. As Bulgak knocks down the jumper there for the Jacksonville Waves, who currently right now lead by 11 points with 8:42 to play here in our second half. This is Timmons with it. She's going to look to shoot that three ball, I guarantee you. But she takes it inside right now. She's got a nice little inside game, too. Can't finish that one. Rebound is corralled there by Jasmine Walker. And here come the Waves. Air Hearn with it, who has been such a dynamic player for the Waves. Now Renaya Davis stutter-stepping her way inside for the deuce. She was the leading scorer for the Waves in the first half, scoring 10. Now up to 14 points here on the night. Timmons fakes, takes, and misses. Good rebound there by Cheyenne Sellers as Timmons a little slow to get up. Hearn launches a pass down low intended for Walker. Last touch by Johnson, and it'll stay with the Waves. So currently Greensboro right behind Jacksonville in the UPSHOT standings in second place. Savannah not too far behind at third place at 4-4. And the Charlotte Crown at 2-6. But just picked up a win over the Savannah Steel not too long ago as Lindsey Pulliam drops in a bucket there for Jacksonville. Pulliam now the second Waves player to hit double digits. She has 10. This is Kamaria McDaniel, tightly defended, and we're going to get a reach and foul on her. So Kamaria McDaniel has been a big X factor for the Greensboro Groove, now averaging over 18 points a contest. A lot of that has been thanks to her drawing the most fouls out of any player on this Greensboro Groove team. There was a stretch, actually, where 4 games in a row, she shot 10 or more free throws. That was snapped in her last game against Jacksonville, but she still took 9, so it was pretty close to continuing that streak. She has the ball right now with 8 on the timer. Johnson trying to get free on the right wing, can't. Now Hollingshed has it. Her jumper's too strong, and we're going to get a loose ball foul on Joyner. And the Waves will now have a chance to extend their lead here a little bit more. Jacksonville opened up their season back on May 15th. Of course, was a historic day as that was the opening night for UPSHOT League. Jacksonville played Charlotte in front of a sellout crowd down in Florida, and Greensboro played the Savannah Steel in front of a sellout crowd right here at the Novant Health Fieldhouse as Jasmine Walker will head to the free throw line. But this UPSHOT League, the league of opportunity. You got 4 teams, the Jacksonville Waves, the Greensboro Groove, Savannah Steel, and Charlotte Crown. All 4 have been treating us to some great fun basketball this season. And this league comprises of many professional basketball players who either have some WNBA experience, have had some good success overseas, or some players that recently wrapped up some successful college basketball careers as well. As Walker hits that first free throw, Jasmine Walker, one of those players that has that WNBA experience. She was the 7th pick back in the 2021 WNBA draft by the LA Sparks. 34 games played with the Sparks from the 2021 to 2022 W season. As here comes Maya Hollingshed with it for the Groove. Steps inside, loses the ball. Good defense there by the Jacksonville Waves. I will say, in pregame warm-ups, I don't think I've seen a team with more energy than the Jacksonville Waves. You could just tell that they were ready to play this basketball game. It's been a while. They haven't played in about 9 days. That was their last game on June 3rd against the Charlotte Crown. Look at Diamond Johnson taking it coast to coast on the other end of the floor. She is a fast player. I tell you, Diamond Johnson, I'd take her any day in a race down the floor. Davis swings it over to the left side now. It's Hearn firing a jumper. Can't hit it over the face of Jones, and here come the Groove now. This is Johnson, the pull-up three. Butter! Diamond Johnson doing Diamond Johnson things in Greensboro. So Johnson all of a sudden now is the team leading scorer for Greensboro. She has 12. As how about that turnaround J from Jasmine Walker in your face. 6 players on this Jacksonville Waves team were WNBA draft picks, 2 of them being top 10 picks, one of those being Jasmine Walker, as Timmons finishes on the other end with a nice pass from Hollingshed. Renaya Davis, the other one, who was the 9th pick back in the 2021 WNBA draft. The Waves have been utilizing their experience this season, as we're going to get an offensive foul, and it was Sahara Jones who took a shot to the ground. Slow to get up, appears to be good. As we'll take a look at that last play, and you see right there, there's the push-off from Davis. And it looks like the officials are going to go ahead and review this last sequence. Now, the last meeting between the Waves and the Groove, that was a good one. It was a 3rd overall meeting, but it was the closest meeting between those two teams. Happened back on Sunday, May 31st, which feels like it was a long time ago, but really wasn't that long ago. Greensboro lost 90-87. It was a game in which Jacksonville had 6 players score in double figures. All 5 starters scored 10 or more points in that ball game, and 5 of their 6 players shot 40% or better from the field. And overall, as a team, they shot 45%. So it was a really good game from the Jacksonville Waves. They also knocked down 9 3-pointers in that contest. Cheyenne Sellers led the way with 17 points. And how about the story for Cheyenne Sellers, too, right? A young player getting a great opportunity in the UPSHOT League. She's been taking advantage of it. And head coach Jess Bogie, she's just done a great job with that Jacksonville Waves team. A mix of some older players. You have 2 players over the age of 30, but you got a couple young players as well that have been able to make a difference for their roster. So the Waves coming in at 5-2 overall in the season. A win tonight, they'll move to 6-2, and they'll be able to extend their winning streak up to 3 games. If Greensboro can win, they'll snap that short 1-game losing streak and move to 5-3 overall and 4-1 here in this building at the Novant Health Fieldhouse. And while we have a moment, I'd like to thank our sponsor over at DW Evans. When your business needs power you can rely on, trust a commercial and industrial electrical contractor who knows North Carolina. From new construction and renovations to service, upgrades, and critical power systems, DW Evans Electric delivers safe, dependable electrical solutions on time and on budget. Our experienced team powers facilities across the state with precision, professionalism, and pride. DW Evans Electric, powering North Carolina businesses. Call 919-383-6020 or visit dwevans.com today. 56-45. Waves lead by 11. 5:27 remaining here in our 3rd quarter. These two teams back at it again tomorrow. Jacksonville has been on the road for quite some time. This is the replay of the last sequence that the officials were looking at between Renaya Davis, who knocked down Sahara Jones to the ground. There was a flagrant foul in the first half, which actually resulted in Greensboro getting a couple free throws and an extra possession. And obviously when two teams see each other so many times, especially in the span of just a couple of weeks, you're really going to see that physical play and that intensity overall just ramp up as time progresses. There's a lot of dogs on both sides for the Waves and the Groove. Got to respect a lot of talent, a lot of hard work and skill being put forth on this floor. And especially right now with the way things are in the standings, kind of close. Jacksonville at 1, Greensboro at 2. You know these games are going to mean a lot. But Greensboro has the ball coming out of this timeout. Good crowd on tap for this Friday night basketball game in Greensboro, North Carolina. It's been a hot day here in the Tri-Ahead, well over 90 degrees for the majority of the day. And it's heat. There's heat in the building too because we got some good basketball here between Greensboro and Jacksonville. Here's Hollingshed with it for the Groove. Gives it over to the hands of Diamond Johnson. Working against Bulgak, drives inside. She's fouled, and Diamond will shoot 2. So Diamond Johnson averaging over 21 points a game. She scored 20 or more points in 4 of her UPSHOT League games. Only one game this season that she has not scored in double figures. But she has just been such a consistent force for the Greensboro Groove as her first free throw is nothing but net. Two for 2 trip for Johnson, who's also averaging over 22 points overall in 3 meetings so far against the Jacksonville Waves. This is Kayla Pointer with it for Jacksonville. She had herself one of her best UPSHOT games in the last meeting against Greensboro, where she put up 11 points and 6 assists in just 21 minutes off the bench. Shot clock down to 4. Sellers looking for Bulgak. It's Zahara Jones says, give me that ball. Down low in the hands of Hollingshed for the finish in transition. Groove fans are loving it. They're within 7. Zahara Jones locked in on the defensive end. And we're going to get a timeout from Jacksonville. A smart timeout from Jess Bogie, who will talk it over with her squad. Looking to get back on track, but Greensboro, they're knocking on that door. Only down by 7. So you take a look at the replay of this again. Zahara Jones getting the steal. Then how about the outlet pass to Maya Hollingshed, who says, I'll take care of the rest. We got ourselves a ball game. It's a 7-point contest as the Waves lead the Groove 56-49. Back in just a moment. You're watching the UPSHOT League. Well, the Greensboro Groove are making things interesting. We've got ourselves a ball game, folks. 56-49, Jacksonville leads by 7. Appreciate everyone joining us on this Friday night for UPSHOT basketball. My name's Wendell Epps. Got our great production crew with us as well along for the ride. As these two teams going toe-to-toe. Jacksonville had a double-digit lead for most of this game, but Greensboro, a little run here recently has allowed them to cut this deficit only down to 7. Pointer off the timeout, can't finish. Sahara Jones gets the board. And here comes Diamond Johnson, spun her way past Pulliam, down low to Hollenshed, and the Groove continue to roll. Soul has it for the Waves. She's double teamed and lost the ball, but a foul was called at the last second. Oh man, Greensboro had themselves a 3-on-0 fast break opportunity had that foul not been called. It was on the floor, so Jacksonville will throw it out from the side. And this was the last bucket for the Greensboro Groove. Sahara Jones again, she's just been the catalyst of those fast break opportunities, getting the rebound, and Diamond Johnson whipping that pass to Maya Hollenshed like there was no tomorrow. What a great sequence. Here's Pointer with it for the Waves. Hearn will fire a deep 3 ball and rattles home. Air Hearn. That is what she does. She gets buckets. The Waves' leading scorer this season. Jacksonville back up by 8. Here's Timmons. Gets a screen from Hollenshed. Swings it to Johnson with 5 on the shot clock. Johnson's mid-range J rattles out. Bulgak corrals the board. Soul double team down low, still shot it, couldn't finish, and it's going to be Groove basketball. Good transition defense by Greensboro. Jacksonville was trying to go fast on that possession, and Groove said, not happening. And with 3:18 to play here in our third quarter, Greensboro down by 8. This is without a doubt the most important stretch right now for the Groove. Can they win these final 3 minutes of the third quarter? That's going to be the telling point of how good our fourth quarter is going to be. Johnson steps inside, lost control of the ball and her body, and ball went out of bounds, so it'll be a turnover. Greensboro bringing a little full court pressure here, as they should. Pointer running the point right now for the Waves. Nice pass down low to Sellers, and she cannot finish. Gets her own miss. Second chance now for the Waves. Pointer looking down low for Soul. And we're going to get a foul called on the floor. This one's going to go on Jessica Timmons. That's going to be her second. It's a 14 foul, so next one, and Jacksonville will be shooting free throws the remainder of the period. This is Hearn to Soul for 3. That one bounced out. Oh, my goodness. And a loose ball there on the end, but Greensboro's going to have possession. Good transition defense there by the Groove, and good hustle as they earn themselves a possession. This is Johnson with it. Tightly defended by Soul. Trying to get free, and good defense there by Taylor Soul. Knocked it out of bounds, but possession will stay with Greensboro. 15 on the shot clock. Jacksonville certainly does not want to let Greensboro get in this game. If there's any team that you don't want to let come back, it's a Greensboro Groove, because they have been in a lot of close game situations. You think back to their opening weekend series against the Savannah Steel in this building, featured a double overtime game. They have seen their fair share of close games. Jones, one-on-one against Soul, turning. Oh my goodness, she got Soul, but couldn't finish the J. Good moves from Sahara Jones, everything but the finish. On the other end, it's Hearn. Faking, taking, and making. Air Hearn. Do your thing. That's good news for Jacksonville as they're back up to double digits. Jones, short runner, bounces out, and last touch by Hollenshed. It'll be Jacksonville ball. Greensboro's trying to claim that it should be their ball. They're trying to say that no one touched it on their end. The official said that Hollingshed last touched it. But Janice Washington and her staff pretty adamant that no one from the Groove side touched it. But nevertheless, it is Waves basketball. As Soul drives inside, a lot of contact, and there's a foul. And 2 free throws are coming up for her. So a foul was assessed on Sahara Jones. That's her second. Take a look at this one again. Taylor Soul, who has been a source of energy off the Jacksonville Waves bench, as she has all season long, got tangled up there with Sahara Jones, who tried to go for the charge, called it a blocking foul. And now Soul, player who spent her college career playing 4 years at Boston College, last season at Virginia Tech. Was a third-round pick in the 2023 WNBA draft. Spent some time with the Minnesota Lynx and the Chicago Sky. Now with the Jacksonville Waves, where this season averaging over 7 points and about 3.5 rebounds a game. This Waves team has been very diverse with their scoring, especially in the last couple of games. It was really Air Hearn in the opening 3 games or so of the season, but the last 4 games or so, Jacksonville's really been relying kind of on a team effort. A lot of games, I mentioned in their win against Charlotte, they had a couple players in double digits, and in the game against Greensboro that they last won, they had 6 players scoring double figures. McDaniel drove inside, and a late whistle is going to be assessed. It's going to be a foul on Bulgak. So that's going to send Kamari and McDaniel to the free throw line for 2 shots. And this is a replay of it. Kamari McDaniel's so good at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. There was a little bit of ball, but there was a little bit of contact as well, as McDaniel was able to knock down her first free throw. A player that has just looked so composed. Miss Calm, Cool, and Collected is what I call her, because it doesn't matter the game, doesn't matter the score. Kamari McDaniel is just going to go out there and she's going to play good basketball. She's a fundamentally sound basketball player and certainly has been a valuable addition to this Greensboro Groove squad. Bulgak drove inside, lost the ball. Soul got it back. 10 on the timer as Jacksonville still has it. Pointer against Johnson. Downloaded Bulgak. She'll fake, she'll take. Rejected by Hollingshed. It'll stay with the Waves with just 3 on the timer, but Bulgak is adamant that a foul should have been called. We'll take a look at this one again and see if Bulgak's right. Goes against Hollingshed. Oh yeah, I think Hollingshed did. She got a piece of her arm there, but we've seen a couple calls go in the way of both Jacksonville and Greensboro. Jalen Brown's on the floor right now for the Groove. As a shot goes up for Sellers, and did they get the foul or the shot clock violation first? They're going to get the foul first. Jessica Timmons assessed with it, so we're seeing a lot of contact and a couple fouls being called here. These last few possessions, you see right there, Timmons all up in the grill of Sellers. And now Cheyenne Sellers is at the free throw line, where she will look for points 6 and 7. So Jacksonville on the road tomorrow against Greensboro. They'll finally be back home next Thursday to take on the Savannah Steel. And that'll be a nice home stretch for the Jacksonville Waves. They'll be home for a couple of weeks, play some basketball down there in front of their fans. As Jacksonville earns themselves a second possession. Bulgak got the board, taking it inside, and can't finishing is Pointer. And now here come the Groove. Johnson spinning, kick out. Timmons lost control of it, and Sellers got the steal. But an 18.5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Soul shoots, gets fouled by Johnson, and for the second time in 2 straight possessions, Jacksonville is going to be shooting free throws. And that is the 4th foul on Diamond Johnson, so she's going to have to be careful. You cannot afford to have your leading scorer in foul trouble like this. The 2 free throws coming up for Taylor Soul, who was just at the free throw line a few minutes ago. Knocks down her first shot as Johnson will check out. Kamari McDaniel will check back in. Johnson also leads not just this team in points, but minutes per game. She played every single second of the last game the Groove had against the Jacksonville Waves. As the second free throw can't fall for Soul, Hollenshed got the board as Bulgak tumbled down to the ground. Hollenshed to Jalen Brown for three. Off the mark, and it'll be Jacksonville basketball. I got to tell you, the Jacksonville Waves have been doing a great job tonight, crashing the glass and finding themselves extra possessions or just defensive rebounds or possessions back in their favor when they can. Shot clock is now off. Waves lead by 12. It's Hearn with it, working against Timmons. Does she have one more bucket in her in this third quarter? Hearn steps inside. Her wild shot can't fall. 1 second to go. Timmons not going to get a shot off in time, as that'll take us to the end of quarter number 3. So Jacksonville leads Greensboro through 30 minutes of play, 65-53. Can the Waves hold on and win their 6th game of the UPSHOT season, or does Greensboro have a comeback in store? We'll find out. You're watching the UPSHOT League. Let's do it. It's fourth quarter time in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're at the Novant Health Fieldhouse featuring the Greensboro Groove and the Jacksonville Waves. Fourth meeting this season between these two ball clubs. Welcome on into the broadcast, everybody. Appreciate everyone joining us. My name's Wendell Epps, here to bring you all the coverage of this one. Jacksonville led by as many as 16 points. That was back in the second quarter at the 3:29 mark. Greensboro got this game within single digits in that third quarter, but Jacksonville was able to build a little bit of a run there towards the end of that third period, and they lead by 12 to open up this final frame. But that third quarter overall was as even as you could get. Both teams scoring 18 points apiece. How about Jessica Timmons opening up the fourth quarter with a deuce? That brings her scoring total up to 13. Here's Air Hearn with it for the Waves. Picked up by Jones. Now this is Renaya Davis. One-on-one against Jalen Brown. Little shimmy action. And the bucket rattles home. Renaya Davis got that look on her face like, this too easy out here. Here's Kamaria McDaniel. Little acrobatic shot, was trying to draw the foul. No call, we play on. Both of these teams have had a lot of moments where they've been looking towards the officials and looking for fouls, but that's the thing. With physical games, sometimes you got to let them play, let these things shake out. Competitive ball game like this. Top two teams in the standings. And that's credit to both of the coaches. Janice Washington for Greensboro, Jess Boja for Jacksonville. Just a great job that them and their staffs have done, leading their teams off to some nice starts in this UPSHOT League season. Bulgak couldn't corral the pass, and it's going to be a turnover, and the Groove will take over with possession. And this is the time for Greensboro to try and build a little bit of a run, kind of how they did midway through that third quarter, where they got within 9. But they cannot do that if they're going to turn over the ball. Cheyenne Sellers gets the steal, spins her way inside, swings it over to Pulliam. She draws a foul, and Lindsey Pulliam will shoot 2 free throws here for the Waves. And Lindsey Pulliam with 10 points so far on the game. She's 3 of 3 from the free throw line. And in her last game against Greensboro, she had 16 points and 6 boards. It was a big reason why the Waves were able to go out and win that game over Greensboro. It was a nice response for the Jacksonville Waves after they had lost to the Groove by 18. Just less than 24 hours prior to that game on the 31st. Pulliam's got one more free throw coming up, looking to extend the Waves' lead up to 14. And she knocks that one down. Pulliam on the floor with Bulgak, Sellers, Hearn, and Davis. The Groove, though, just turned over the basketball right after that free throw was made there by Pulliam. So Jacksonville earned themselves a freebie on that possession. And that happened right in front of the Jacksonville Waves bench, so of course they love seeing that. This is Pulliam firing a deep 3 ball. That one can't fall. Rebound goes in the hands of Jalen Brown. Brown gets it across the timeline, picked up by Cheyenne Sellers. Screen from Amaya Joyner, who's back in the ball game for Greensboro, but that pass intercepted by Sellers, saying, "I'll take that from you." Jacksonville up by 14. Bulgak for 3. Way off the mark. Brown gets the board. And the Groove trying to work something on the offensive end. No Diamond Johnson on the floor towards the end of the third quarter, but she's back on the floor now. She does have 4 fouls, so something to keep an eye on as this game progresses. Johnson between the legs, swings it over to Timmons, fires a jumper. That one rattles home. That was pure. And that was set up there by Amaya Joyner, who set an off-ball screen there on that play. It was a great look there. And Jessica Timmons, she has been playing just some of her best basketball as of late for the Greensboro Groove. Here's Hearn with it, gets a screen, steps in, kicks it out to Bulgak, one-on-one against Johnson. This is Pulliam, 2 on the shot clock. She's got a fire, and we're going to get a foul. We're going to get a foul literally with 1 second left on that shot clock. Jessica Timmons committed a foul. That's happened actually a couple of times in the second half where the Waves have had the ball late in the shot clock, and they've been able to get, for lack of a better term, bailed out just based off a foul from Greensboro. But that's just something, whereas learning curve for the Groove. Just got to learn in those late shot clock situations to try and keep your hand up, but keep it back enough where you don't give any proof that you're committing a foul. As Lindsey Pulliam, her second trip to the free throw line here in this fourth quarter. Jacksonville Waves have been a consistent team this season, 5-2. League's best record coming off that win against the Charlotte Crown back on June 3rd over at the Bojangles Coliseum. As Pulliam hits the second free throw there. Waves now up by 13, 7:25 to play in regulation. Here's Diamond Johnson. Gives it over to Maya Joyner, steps inside and finishes with the right hand. Nice pick and roll action there between Joyner and Johnson. That's a connection that I anticipate growing more and more as those two start to share the floor a little bit more together. Maya Joyner, her minutes have increased these last couple games. This is Jasmine Walker. Hook shot with the right hand, can't fall. Joyner's right there for the board. Greensboro can make it a single-digit game here. And they don't. Hollenshed had 2 great looks at the rim. Jacksonville taking their time right now, as they should. They control the tempo of the game, up by 11. Pointer gets inside, little runner, drops in. Kayla Pointer on point on that possession as Jacksonville gets the lead back up to 13. This is Jones with it on the floor with Hollingshed, Johnson, Joyner, and Timmons. Diamond Johnson for three. That one too strong. And Pointer's there for the rebound. Greensboro's been looking to try and get those threes on par here in the second half. Hasn't really gone their way, but still some time. 5:50 to go. And Johnson has it. 3 on 3. Oh, what a bounce pass down low to Hollingshed. And she finishes down low. One step at a time if you're the Greensboro Groove. You got to get a bucket, and then you got to get some stops as well. Pointer drives in through two Greensboro defenders. Somehow found an escape and passed it over to Renaya Davis, who finished in style. Jacksonville just looks composed out there right now. Here's Jones. Timmons trying to get free. She does, and uses glass for the and one. Jessica Timmons has been the star of the show for Greensboro. She has a team-high 19 points. And can become the first player in this game to hit the 20-point mark in the scoring department. We'll take a look at this and one. A play so nice, you just got to see it twice. Jessica Timmons getting the and one. Not giving up just yet. Groover with an 11. We're back in just a moment. You're watching the UPSHOT League. Well, it's now or never for the Greensboro Groove, who currently trail by 11 with 5:09 to play in our fourth quarters. We welcome you back into this live presentation of UPSHOT League basketball. The Greensboro Groove taking on the Jacksonville Waves. My name's Wendell Epps here to bring you this broadcast. Jessica Timmons, prior to the media timeout, got an and one and has a chance to convert the three-point play with the made free throw here. Would also move her scoring total up to 20 points, which has been something that Jessica Timmons has been accustomed to now. Her last three games, each of her last three games, she has scored 20 or more points, and all of them have been against the same team, the Jacksonville Waves. So talk about consistency and having your number against somebody. Jessica Timmons has just been phenomenal as of late. Here's Jasmine Walker firing a three ball. That one way off. And it's going to be Groove basketball, as with 4:49 to play, Greensboro trying to go for one final push here. They've got a good crowd to try and rally them up and cheer them on for this comeback that they are trying to attempt. But it's not going to be easy. They're going against a really strong, experienced, seasoned Jacksonville team that has won the most games out of any UPSHOT League team this season. Timmons can't hit the three. Joyner gets the board, though. Second chance for the Groove. Hollingshed for three. No. And here come the Waves on the other end, which their pace per minute is going to definitely drop these final 4 minutes or so as long as they keep this lead, because right now they're in control. But Greensboro's going to have to look to force some turnovers and get some stops. Hearn, a rainbow triple. Can't fall, but Pointer's there for the board. That's exactly what Jacksonville could have dreamed for. Greensboro trying to get a stop. Hollingshed and Jones tag team effort results in a loose ball foul on Jacksonville, as the Groove will now take over with possession. So certainly Jessica Timmons will be someone to look out for as far as who can get some points, but obviously Diamond Johnson, who is the team's and the league's leading scorer in points per game this season. That's someone that can certainly help this team try and come back, as Johnson has it for the Groove. Gets a screen from Joyner, drives in against Walker, kicks it out to Timmons. She'll fake, she'll drive inside, contact, and an offensive foul. An offensive foul on Jessica Timmons, and that is going to increase her personal foul total up to 5. That's 5 fouls now on Jessica Timmons. Take a look at this one once again. Drove inside against Soul, and just a little push-off was enough for the officials to call the offensive foul. So Timmons is going to head to the bench. Kamari McDaniel is going to come back in. Obviously not the ideal scenario to have the player that's leading you in points on the bench, but Greensboro's going to try and make it work. Here's Walker. Gives it over in the hands of Kayla Pointer. 12 on the timer for the Waves. This is Hearn. Into the hands of Pointer. Drives inside. Free throw line. Jay can't fall. Johnson's got the board. Wasting no time. Picked up tightly by Cheyenne Sellers. It's Hollingshed directing traffic. Jones down low to Joyner. Joyner trying to work some post moves and looking for a foul. No call. Just good, clean defense there from the Waves, who could smell victory with just about 3 minutes remaining in regulation. Up by 10. Hearn into the hands of Walker. Oh, she got 2 defenders to bite. Can't get the J to fall. Jacksonville looking for a second chance. Diamond Johnson gets that ball, but pass is intercepted. Wow. Talk about a change of scenery there. Greensboro thought they had the ball and a chance to make it single digits in terms of the deficit, but no. Jacksonville with some great defense, and that's been a recurring theme all game long. Sellers, nice bounce pass inside to Walker, and she'll finish inside with ease. So the Waves back up now by 12. Hollingshed with it. Now McDaniel spins her way inside. A little hop, step, and this time a foul is going to be called, and Kamari McDaniel will shoot 2 free throws. And this is replay of that play. That's a 3rd foul assessed on Kayla Pointer, as Jessica Timmons will come back in after the timeout. So 2:18 to play in our 4th quarter. Greensboro and Jacksonville. Waves at 5-2, Greensboro at 4-3. We'll step aside for our final break of the game. Back in just a moment to wrap things up. You're watching the UPSHOT League. How about that entertainment for you? A nice little dance off the hair at center court. Always cute and wonderful to see the kids there doing it with our lovely mascot of the Greensboro Groove, DJ, an absolute legend. The Greensboro Groove currently trailing the Jacksonville Waves right now, 76-64, with 2:18 to play in our fourth quarter. Jacksonville on the verge of winning yet another game, what would be their third win in a row, and what would move them to 6-2 on the UPSHOT League season. The Groove at 4-3. A loss today would put them at 4-4, so still at 500, but just at that thin line of an even 500 record. Kamari McDaniel's at the free throw line, and she got fouled prior to the timeout. She's got 2 shots coming up right now. McDaniel with 12 points so far on the evening. Make it 13 as she knocks down the first. Two-for-two trip for Kamari McDaniel, as the Waves are trying to put the finishing touches on this ball game. Here's Cheyenne Sellers, picked up by McDaniel. 2:05 to play. This is Pointer. 6 on the shot clock. Trying to get a bucket here. Pointer attacks inside. Fakes, kicks it out. Hearn a 3, just in the nick of time. Can't fall, but second chance for Jacksonville. Gives them more time to burn. Hearn to Walker for 3. In and out, but Sellers got the rebound, but she committed a loose ball foul. So no basket. It's going to be Greensboro basketball, but a good effort there by Sellers and the Waves to earn themselves some extra possessions, but more importantly, they burned off probably an extra 20 seconds off the game clock with that extra possession that they were able to earn themselves. So now with 1:37 to play, the Groove are just going to have to go at a rapid pace and get baskets as quickly as they can. Johnson between the legs. A little saucing and crossing action, steps inside and knocks down the J, making it look easy out there. You either got to get a quick steal, or you're going to have to play the foul game sooner rather than later if you're Greensboro. But Jacksonville's going to use that shot clock as long as they can. Hearn for 3! Got it! Air Hearn delivering in the clutch! And that just might do it. As Janice Washington, head coach of the Greensboro Groove, will call timeout. And it's all smiles for the Jacksonville Waves, and rightfully so. They've been playing a great game tonight, and they are on the verge of winning their 6th game of the UPSHOT season. Jacksonville has been in a game in which that they've done a lot of great things. They started off really going inside the paint, but Greensboro answered, specifically in that third quarter where they cut the lead down to single digits. But players like Lindsey Pulliam, see on your screen right there, number 10 in green, have just been delivering for the Jacksonville Waves. A couple players in double figures led by Renaya Davis with 18 points. This is the highlight of Renaya Davis, one of her buckets over Jalen Brown. And she is somebody that has been a force inside the post all season long. But then you got players like Cheyenne Sellers as well, who also can make an impact. But this was a third quarter run where Greensboro had a couple steals. That was something that I felt like got them back into this ball game and made things a little interesting. But in this fourth quarter, Jacksonville's been able to get back on track. They haven't outscored Greensboro actually in this fourth quarter. The Groove have outscored the Waves 15-14. But Jacksonville has just done just enough, and they've hit shots at times that they need to. Most recently, that last possession there where we saw Air Hearn knock down that left corner 3. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's not about continuing to build your lead. Obviously, you would love to build your lead more, but sometimes it's just about rolling through that ship and carrying a steady, slow ride down to the finish line, and that's what Jacksonville has been doing here tonight. And Diamond Johnson, Jessica Timmons are off the floor right now for Greensboro with 1:02 to play here in the fourth quarter. So Tay Jones-Bell is checked back in, as has Jalen Brown. This is Sahar Jones set to inbound. Gives it into Maya Hollingshed. These two teams will be back at it again tomorrow. 4 o'clock tip-off time. Catch that right here in the UPSHOT League YouTube channel. As McDaniel fakes, takes, misses. Good rebound by Air Hearn, and she is going to be immediately fouled. And tomorrow will mark the 5th overall meeting between the Waves and the Groove, and if things hold the way they are, we'll head into that matchup with Jacksonville holding a 3-1 series lead this season over the Greensboro Groove. Jacksonville has already beaten every other UPSHOT team in Charlotte and Savannah at least once this season. As we'll get a timeout called here from Jacksonville. But the Waves have been through quite the season so far. They opened up their season back on May 15th, lost their first game actually to the Charlotte Crown 95-103, a game in which they had a pretty good lead towards the end there, but Charlotte bounced back and went on a run to win on opening night. But then Jacksonville won 3 games in a row. They got revenge on Charlotte on May 21st in their building, beating them, and then they knocked off the Greensboro Groove at home 80-76. Beat the Savannah Steel the next day 78-75 before coming here to Greensboro and losing on May 30th 89-71. But then their last 2 games coming into this one, wins over the Groove and the Charlotte Crown, both decided by single digits, but Jacksonville was able to prevail with victories. And head coach Jess Bogie has definitely been very pleased with what her Jacksonville Waves club has been able to do. And as the #1 team in this UPSHOT League, sitting at 5-2 this season and on the verge of winning their 3rd game in a row, things are certainly starting to click for the Jacksonville Waves. And it's that interesting point of the season, right? Where we're kind of not at that beginning stage. We're June 12th, so almost a full month into the UPSHOT League season, where now identities have been formed. Players have started to gain that chemistry with their teammates, and now it's not about working out the kinks. It's just about going out there, playing ball, and building upon what you've been doing in your last couple of games. And Jacksonville has been doing that. Their points in the paint numbers have been increasing these last couple of games as far as their average and overall contests. They've been limiting their turnovers as well. And you can just see that the Jacksonville Waves, their chemistry, I mentioned for those of you that were tuned in the 3rd quarter of the broadcast, I was noticing just in the pregame warm-ups how attentive and how energetic, and the smiles and high fives and everyone dapping each other up on the Jacksonville Waves squad. You can just tell that the chemistry is really there, and it's reflected in their record, having the best overall mark through 7 games, and in just about 38 seconds we'll be able to say 8 games through the UPSHOT League season. This is Air Hearn. She's going to fire a 3. Why not? Why not? Air Hearn knocking it down. That's her 2nd triple here in this 4th period. Sometimes it's just your night. As that gives the Waves a 14-point lead. And now this is a pretty cool moment, because Sasha Washington, who is a new player on the Greensboro Groove, making her debut, has a chance to earn herself her first point as a Greensboro Groove player. And there it is. Sasha Washington, who played her college ball at Vanderbilt, 23 years old. A player that will hope to help out the Groove moving forward. Knocks down both free throws there. And the shot clock is officially off, so Jacksonville will just go ahead and run this one down, as the Waves will move to 6-2 on the UPSHOT League season. Greensboro is going to fall to 4-4, but we're going to see these two teams duke it out again tomorrow, and that should be fun to wrap up this weekend series. Again, that game will be at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, as it is over. The Jacksonville Waves have secured an 82-70 victory tonight over the Greensboro Groove to keep their win streak alive. Now 3 wins in a row for the Jacksonville Waves, who are on a roll. A great game for them. Air Hearn had 19 points, came up in the clutch there, hit 2 big threes down the stretch, as a leading scorer of a team does. Renaya Davis had a great game as well, 18 points. Lindsey Pulliam added 13 points for the Jacksonville Waves. Groove had their fair share of players who did some great things as well, including Jessica Timmons, who led the way with 21 points, and Diamond Johnson, who backed her up as well. So Greensboro look to get back to the drawing board. Not going to have that much time, just less than 24 hours before they're back on the hardwood again. But Greensboro falls short, losing 82-70 tonight over the Jacksonville Waves. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning into our broadcast, for our fantastic production crew. My name is Wendell Epps. We will see you tomorrow for another edition of UPSHOT Basketball between Greensboro and Jacksonville. Good night, everyone. This has been a presentation of the UPSHOT League.